All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Coleman Power Organic Fitness Podcast. And if you haven't heard about it already, where the hell have you been? This is an Amazon #1 bestseller. That's what this is. I can't believe it. There's a dream come true. That's not what I've come to talk to you about on today's show. It's actually my good friend, Kellie. All right, Kellie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Coleman. Pleasure.
No problem at all. If anyone is not currently following Kellie, I most certainly will be putting her handles in the likes of the show notes and be tagging her on the day of this release coming out on Thursday. So I suppose, Kellie, for those of you that don't know you, I suppose if you could give them your elevator pitch in relation to who you are, what you do, and we can get started there.
Yeah, so currently I'm an online fitness coach. But that, I suppose that came about long after a lot of other careers that I've had. So I started off by studying neuroscience in UCD, qualified neuroscientist, went into teaching from that, then went in, done a maths degree. So yeah, listen, I've done loads of stuff. I always had a passion for fitness. I've always played sports. Played rugby at All Ireland level, trained and competed in MMA, and I'm currently doing adventure racing and triathlon. So yeah, my passion for fitness has always been there, but I suppose I didn't really know that I could make a career out of it. Up until the last couple of years, I suppose, I find a lot of people in Ireland, think that, they need a steady job, and that's it, that they can't actually work at something that they enjoy doing. And I kind of had that mindset growing up, watching my mom and dad go to work, come home, and that's just what you did. So that was me. I was teaching for about 8 years, a secondary school teacher. And I was like, I'm going to qualify and get my personal training qualification, my nutrition qualification part-time. So I was working Monday to Friday as a secondary school teacher, and I was in DCU every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday, full days for a full year to get my qualifications. And then after that, I took the jump. I left teaching, probably one of the scariest decisions or things that I've done, because I love the quote, there are only two real addictions in life, and that is heroin and a steady wage. And it's so true. You're terrified to leave this job because of the unknown, and the unknown is the most terrifying thing, I think. But anyway, left the job. I said, what, if I can make enough money just to pay the bills, put food on the table, I would be happy, and it all kind of went mental from there. I think as well, it was a very a good time for me to do it. It was just before COVID hit, so next minute everyone's stuck at home, and the online coaching thing was just a good option, I suppose, at the time. So yeah, have been running my own online fitness business since then, and it's just gone from strength to strength, and I've met loads of people, worked with hundreds of clients, and yeah, that brings us up to right now. Met Coleman online. I really believe that if you surround yourself with like-minded people, you'll just be a lot happier in life. So yeah, it was great to meet you and other people through the online space.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about that. And I suppose the emphasis on this whole podcast, in particular this show, is really how to balance, I suppose, a healthy lifestyle with kids, and I suppose exercise, and you being a clear example that it can be done. How do you do it on a regular basis? How are you dealing with, I suppose, those of you that don't know, you're just after having, I suppose, in a relationship now, currently with Mo, and with 2 children on the go. How do you do it? I tell you, I don't know how you do it.
This time last year we had 0 kids, and now we've 2 girls. We had twins in October. And I listen, if anyone out there is listening to this, follows me, they know that I'm very, very open and honest on my page. I hate all of this, putting your best foot forward online and not showing the truth. And, it just feeds into that comparison syndrome that a lot of people can suffer from when we look online, because most people just put up their highlight reels, and we compare ourselves to that, we can feel inadequate. So my page, I really pride myself on putting everything out there, and being a parent is absolutely bloody hard work. I'm not going to lie. And I would never deny that. It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, but it's definitely the most rewarding thing. I wouldn't change it for the world. In saying that though, I think people need to be realistic. And that's the problem, I think, with a lot of people. They think that they can keep up the level of, activity or whatever that they had been doing beforehand. And obviously, if you have 2 kids, that's not possible. So first and foremost, people need to be realistic with their time. And secondly, people need to plan and structure their weeks to allow them to, have set days and times where they train. So that's what I try and do with my clients. I make personalized programs for them, because if you compare, let's say, someone who's in my position, a mother who works full time, you compare that to, a college student who has no commitments, obviously you're not going to have the same time available. So you need to really, really get it set down in stone in your weekly plan. And if you don't have that, leaving things to chance, you're more than likely not going to get it done. So yeah, having set times and having set days for training is an absolute must if you're a parent. So what me and Mo do, and what we did over the past couple of weeks, because Mo has just returned to work herself. So we sat down and we said, okay, this day we have this time free. The kids are in the childminders or whatever. And that's our days and times where we go and we exercise and, we meal prep and all of these things. Because if you fail to plan, you need to, be ready to fail, because everything comes down to plan and prep, especially when you're so busy.
Yeah. And Kellie, I'd love for you, I suppose, even to break down to people, what are the things that I suppose are key for you with meal prep, or I suppose with healthy food choices, whether it's on the go or you're making something the night before. What do you do just to break it down for people, the simple things? And that's, for the most part, people are not doing the simple things. They often, like, we had a chat just before we went on air, the fact that people will demonize carbohydrates just as supposed to sell a program. They'll demonize fats to make them lose weight quickly, and fats are essential in the diet. The carbohydrates are the body's first source of energy, but they put both like processed foods and the likes of complex carbohydrates, maybe sourdough bread, in the same bracket, and then people are confused and they're taking out food and they undereat and they binge eat, and it's a whole cycle of. And I'm so glad that there are 2 people, myself and Kellie, and that's it. There's no one else, not a race.
Yeah. No, come here. Listen, I am 100% in agreement with you. I think the biggest thing that people do that leads to not adherence to, like, trying to be a bit healthier, a bit fitter, is they complicate things. They way overcomplicate nutrition. Anyone coming to me, when I give them their plans, they're like, Jesus, this is actually simple. It's not mad stuff, mad food ingredients or whatever. It's all very simple. Because, simply food comes down to, the foods that you like, having that so that you'll adhere to the program. That's another thing. When people think they, need to be a bit more healthy, a bit fitter, they think they need to be eating crazy types of food, and that's not the case. So to answer your question that you asked me, how, I suppose, do I maintain healthy eating long term? So first and foremost, I think the most important thing is to make sure that you have the good foods in the house. If you have a house full of chocolate, full of absolute shit processed food, well, that's what you're going to eat, So we get a Tesco delivery every single week, same day, same time. People are probably like, Jesus Christ, you're very regimented, Kellie. But I need to be like that in order to stay on top of it. If I didn't have a Tesco delivered to the house every week, I would just end up eating whatever was in the house. So yeah, firstly, we have the Tesco delivered and ordered. Secondly, I only have about 2 or 3 meals for breakfast, lunch and dinner that I enjoy, so therefore I rotate between them. I always drill into my clients, repetition will get you results. Find 3 breakfast meals that you like, 3 lunch meals that you like, 3 dinner meals that you like, and just rotate between them. It makes it easy, takes the thinking out of it, and it simplifies nutrition. So yeah, I just have breakfast and lunch, 3 or 4 things, rotate between them. And then I actually have a cookbook, and I just pick a couple of meals from that each week. And that's what we do. We'll cook, let's say, what did we have the other day? We had a chili con carne, and we cooked that off, and then we had it for 2 or 3 days for dinner after. So yeah, batch cooking is great, but the key here is simplicity and having the ingredients in your house so that, you're not going to be reaching for processed food.
Yeah. That's what ends up happening, Kelly, with most people that I chat to as well. The point of which is they haven't planned ahead. They've minimal healthy food in the presses or the fridge. And what ends up happening is what's handy. And the body is going to crave typically high calorie and sugar. And sugar is in the form of carbohydrates. So it's either biscuits, crackers, cakes. And I've done it too, but I suppose I'm further away from that right now. And the point of which is you will eat whatever food's in your house. So the point of which is don't have those literally foods that I suppose are tempting you to overeat on the likes of foods that are high in calories and that are low in nutrient quality.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned it earlier as well. You said what a lot of people do is when they think, okay, right, I'm going to start Monday, I'm going to, be healthier, maybe lose a bit of weight or whatever. When they do that, what they can tend to do is under eat. So on Monday, they won't have a breakfast, they'll have a tiny lunch. And what you're doing then is you're under eating during the day, which leads to overeating at night. And when you're overeating at night and your body is craving basically energy, you're going to go for, as you just said, those simple carbohydrates, your sugary foods, your biscuits, your chocolate and stuff like that. And hopefully everyone listening knows that that's the area in which you're going to be over consuming your calories. You're not going to be sitting there eating, 10 chicken breasts, but you would sit there and you would eat, a full packet of chocolate or biscuits or whatever. So yeah, basically another thing I just picked up on you there is don't be under eating throughout the day and then overeating at night. 3 good balanced meals throughout the day is the way to go.
Yeah. Would I suppose, I'm going to give an example of my, I suppose, go-to quick. If I'm on the go, if I'm moving, I would typically go for a yogurt. I mean, a natural yogurt is something that I can easily get in any shop, whether I'm traveling from Cork, Waterford, Kildare, the North, Roscommon, going to here or a retreat or anything, any events that I'm currently doing. It's something that's a complete protein source. You can add in natural fruit, and people say, oh, Coleman, yeah, what yogurts are good? I like the one with the strawberry flavor. But right now, strawberries and all different berries are in season. You can get the likes of a yogurt, some berries, and add nuts to it. Like literally a spoon of it. How many nuts? You typically eat yogurt with a spoon, and a spoon in that's your 3 things your body runs out: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Those are literally my go-to snack on the go. Do you have any examples of something that you have on a regular basis to, I suppose, get you from A to B, or a snack that you really enjoy that the listeners would like to know?
Yeah, do you know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that. Yogurt is my go-to. I eat a 500-gram pot of yogurt every single day. I'm not joking. The Tesco man comes in. The Tesco man carrying in 7 tubs of yogurt. He's like, are you okay? But no, I literally have yogurt every single day. And if I'm on the go, I'll make it just before I go. So what I do is every Wednesday I'm away. So I'm out at meetings on Wednesday and I have to travel an hour to and an hour from. And I'll just take one of the 500-gram tubs of yogurt. I'll take a banana or whatever fruit is in the house, strawberries, blueberries, and I will take a little bit of granola in like, a little container or whatever. And I literally take that with me and that's it. And if I know I'm going to be out longer in the day, I'll bring a sandwich with me or whatever. But yeah, yogurt is definitely my go-to. Another one I like as well is overnight oats. They're really handy because you just grab it from the fridge. There's literally no assembly, the day you just grab it and eat on the go. So yeah, overnight oats and yogurt. Yogurt is king though. I eat it every single day.
That's so funny. I hadn't actually previously given Kelly the questions we were going to ask her in relation to food choices and things. Yogurt is something that I would also have. I am a major fan of it. Things that have no and very little prep to it. Grab yogurt, adding 2 ingredients, you're there. And that's why I'm another believer in the likes of eggs. Like literally, if you're in trouble, boil 6 goddamn eggs. They can be transplanted. They are nature's literally protein balls. People are like, oh, come on, what about the protein balls? I'm like, scrap your protein balls. It takes you no time at all. You don't know what the hell is in them. Could be added sugar. I don't care. But the point of which is boil some eggs. Have them on the go. Those are healthy snacks. Like those are something my granddad would have had. And I don't know how actually healthy he was. But the point of which is it's simple. Do the simple stuff.
Yeah. Come on, I literally was about to say that. I was going to say, remember you called up to my house last summer and I was like, you made me lunch and we were talking, we literally had a conversation for about 10 minutes about how amazing eggs were. Like that's another thing I eat on the go all the time. Eggs. I eat eggs pretty much every single day, actually, to be honest with you.
So would I, and it's their nature is multivitamin. And Kellie teed me up lovely. There's a section in the book about eggs. If anyone wants to read that, if you haven't read that, get on it. But yeah, eggs. They're such an easy one. I suppose, again, what we're talking about right now is the simple things to us. But maybe listening to, I suppose, other than myself, another individual that says, "Oh God, that's what Kellie does," and they might pick up on it. And that's the whole idea of this podcast. Actually, I suppose, educate people and get people on the healthy buzz and connecting them with like-minded people. And I suppose now we touched a lot about the likes of food, Kellie. I want to kind of go and lean towards the likes of, why do you train, and why do you train so hard, and why are you as healthy as you currently are? I'd love to know that, where you may be influenced by either a family member or someone that you've met along the way.
No, to be honest with you, my training always falls back to mental health. That's the foundation of the reason why I train. If I don't get out at least once a day, and I don't mean, doesn't have to be mad training session. It could be literally a simple 30-minute walk, or it could be, swim, cycle, run. I'm training for the Ironman in Cork at the moment. But if I don't get outside the house, get out into nature, move my body, at least once a day for 20, 30 minutes, I'm just not a nice person to be around. It really, really affects my mental health. And yeah, that's something I wasn't really aware of until I had a back injury. I think it happened in August 2020, and I had surgery on my back in December 2020. So that period of 5 months, I wasn't hardly able to walk, to be honest with you. I found it difficult to dress myself. It was very tough part of my life. And reflecting back, I just realized, Jesus Christ, the thing that actually was the hardest part about that whole experience was not being able to get outside and exercise. So yeah, to answer your question, for my mental health to remain at a level at which I'm happy with, I have to be out exercising. But also, like, let's call a spade here. I want to be able to look a certain way as well. Do you know what I mean? I pride myself on my appearance, as well as my, emotional and mental health as well. And yeah, it's just, I think, and a lot of people can maybe think I sound a bit harsh saying this, but if you look in the mirror, right, and you're not happy with what you see, the only person that you can, pin that on or blame is yourself, because the harsh reality of it is that the situation you find yourself in life right now is an accumulation of all the decisions that you've made up until that point. And that can be very hard for people to face, because personal responsibility is an area that a lot of people can try and avoid, because it's so much easier to push the blame on someone else. But if you be honest with yourself and sit down and look in the mirror and say, do you know what I see in the mirror is my own fault. It's every single decision that I have made up until this point. But this is the important part, is that you have the power to change that. You are the only person who has the power to change that. And how do you change it? So a lot of people are like, "Oh, Kellie, I don't know what to do to start." This is how you change it, okay? You start simple, because going from 0 to 1 with any change in life is going to be the most difficult. So what a lot of people do is they over expect and they under deliver. They go too hard too soon. They're too extreme, and it never ever lasts. So then they say, "Oh, feck this is too difficult," and they stop doing it altogether. Whereas if you start small and you create small little habits that you implement every single day, those habits will compound over time and they will lead to massive results. But we need to start small, and we need to make sure that we're consistent with that. Consistency is key with anything you ever want to achieve. It's consistency. And Coleman, looking at your page every single day, like, you're the king of consistency. What the information that you're giving out to people is what you're doing at home. You're not sitting there posting on social media things that you're pretending that you're doing. You live what you say, and you're consistent every single day. And that's the reason you look the way you do. You have, the mental health that you have the physical health that you have. And listen, it's not easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, every single person would be doing it, but it's not as difficult as people make out. It's just, you need to seek the right people with the right education. There's so much education online, and we can kind of get, we can get a bit overwhelmed by it all, but just find someone you trust, me, Coleman, whoever it may be, and stick with them, and maybe reach out to them and ask them for advice.
And that's a great point. There's so much right now free information that's out there, but making sure that you get it from, I suppose, people that you like, know, and trust. Like, we can talk about, I don't talk about negativity, and we were just chatting about this before we came on air. There's very few people that myself and yourself would actually watch online, and it can end up being, I suppose, something that we can either use as comparison syndrome, saying, oh my God, look at them. They're on holidays. Look at their lovely family. Jesus, I wish I had a family. And that can happen to me. I'm a single individual in my 30s, and everyone says to me, oh, cool, man, why are you single? Well, I'm currently working on something right now to, I suppose, reach as many people as I possibly can. And it's not, I suppose, making it my priority. And that's why I suppose I'm excelling in other areas of life, such as my fitness, and you could say maybe my business and anything else that I'm trying to, I suppose, I'm putting a lot of time into. Because what you spend your time doing, you will improve, or you will find out that's not working so well, and you'll inevitably, you'll get better at it. And that's the same way that right now someone is good at their job because they're spending a lot of time at it. They might earn a certain amount of income, but you took a little bit of that time away from your job and start putting it towards a little bit of a plan and steps for and actions towards your foods, your exercise, your steps, and getting outside and doing, and even going shopping. Like, that's a minimum requirement, I suppose. High five, we could change that into people doing those 5 things and seeing more results. Because what people are not doing is they say they don't have enough time, and we all have the same amount of time. We have 24 hours in a day, and they're not making any more time. What they really need to do is make a priority. Stop wasting time. And that's the absolute killer. If you're not happy where you are, make sure that you're doing the things that help you. Because most people are not helping themselves. They're not doing the likes of the steps. They're not doing the workouts. There's no meal prep shopping being done at all. And then they're going and focusing in on, again, people that they're comparing themselves to on social media.
Yeah, yeah. And you're so right. So many people say I don't have time. And listen, I'm a mother of 8-month-old twins. You know, if I can find a little bit of time here or there, anyone can find time. But this is what I say to people as well. Anyone coming to work with me and say, oh, Jesus, I'm struggling to find time. Get onto your phone and look at the screen time that you spend on that phone every single week. And I'm telling you, it's hours. We're not talking minutes here. We're talking hours. And that's all of the time that you don't have to spend on exercise or to spend on meal prep. You know, as you said, Coleman, it's about prioritizing things. You know, if you want to sit there on social media scrolling for hours and hours, that's fine. That's your decision. But then you need to deal with the consequences on the back end of it. Maybe you're unfit. Maybe you're overweight. Maybe, you know, your mental health is struggling because you're sitting on the couch every single day. You're following these people, as you said, who you are jealous of, or, you know, who you want to look like or you want to be, but you're not doing anything about it. You know, it's about taking those steps. And as I said, listen, I'm all about choose your suffering. That is the one thing that I drill into my clients. Choose your suffering. You have a choice. Everybody has a choice, okay? But one decision comes at the cost of the other decision. So if you want to sit there on the couch and you want to, you know, binge watch your Netflix all day, you want to scroll on your phone all day, that's fine. That's your decision. But then you can't bitch and moan about being, you know, unhealthy, unfit, overweight, because you have made that decision. Nobody else. You have made that decision. If you want to make the other decision and change, well, that's brilliant. Then, you know, you'll have the fit body, you'll have the fit mind, and so on. But yeah, the quote that I love is, stop moaning about the results that you don't have from the work that you didn't do.
Yeah, I love it. And we're kind of both on the same wavelength here right now. I'm going to ask you, while we're heated a tiny bit, we're not too bad, but do you have goals? Why are you so driven? Why is there a bit of a bite in you? And I just want to ask you that particular question.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I'm sorry if I'm coming across a bit.
No, you're fine.
I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get very, very passionate about this topic. I suppose having goals and stuff like that, it just gives your life purpose, doesn't it? I know a lot of people who are just happy, you know, with going to work, coming home, doing the same thing. And I actually just said there, they're happy with doing that. They're not happy. They're just living a life on repeat, on autopilot. And it's because they're not self-aware, and that's not anyone else's problem, because I've had this conversation with a lot of people recently. Everyone lacks self-awareness. Okay. But how do you start to be self-aware? Because how do you even know that you're self-aware? You're not self-aware in the first place. I know that's a bit conflicting there, but if you can understand that, you know, you need to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, Am I happy? Am I happy with my job? Am I happy with my fitness? Am I happy with my relationship? All of these areas. And if the answer is no, well, then you need to put steps in to change that. Okay. So I was in a position, and I'm going to be honest, as I said at the start of this podcast, I'm always honest. In my late teens, early 20s, I was in a position where I was not happy with my body. I was overweight. I wasn't fit, and I wasn't happy. My self-confidence was in the fucking ground, because of the way I looked. And I just said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to do something about this. And I wasn't even, I didn't have the best education at the time about what needed to be done. But I said to myself, I'm just going to start. And I never forget it. Me and Mo lived in a tiny little flat in Dalkey at the time. And I said, I'm going to run around the block once. And I think it was less than a kilometer in total to run around. And that was a big thing for me at the moment. I wasn't into sport at that stage. I wasn't fit, as I said. And I just ran the one lap and I was in bits, and I got back and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try do that every single day. And I started small and I did it. But it just showed me that whatever I want with my body, with my mind, whatever I can get, but I need to put the work in. So now I'm at a stage where I just enjoy pushing myself. I just enjoy pushing my body to its limits. I just enjoy pushing my mind to its limits. So a lot of these events that I do, like I ran a marathon in 2019 by completing the same kilometer 42.2 times. And I raised money for mental health and Pieta House and all of that. But that was more of a mindset challenge for me. Like, could I do that? I can run a marathon. I probably could go out and, push myself to run a marathon tomorrow. But that event for me was more of a mental challenge. Whereas these triathlons that I'm doing at the moment are more a physical challenge. I am just, intrigued with how far my body will go, before it gives in. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, no, it did. And I appreciate even your honesty in that. I suppose telling people where you started. You started off at half a kilometer. And that's the point of which that you don't get healthy by just doing one training session. You don't get healthy by just making one healthy food choice. It is the day-to-day stuff. And people are asking, both myself and yourself, who are into, I suppose, helping people and mentoring them and coaching them in a healthier lifestyle. When did it all start? It didn't start last year, it didn't start 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was the first time we decided to, suppose, start improving our diet, it's a lifestyle. And we're factoring it in. This is the whole topic of this, I suppose, episode that I'm looking for. It's a balance. You have a family, you have a business, you have a job, you have, suppose, people that you meet on a regular basis, and that you make it fit your day. When you're at an event, you're factoring in those, I suppose, food choices on a regular basis. And that's what makes you healthy. You have a balance, and a lot of people are trying to find that. They have an imbalance. So just think of it like the seesaw. If you're not happy right now where you are, you tip it up the other end to make it to more parallel or more level.
Yeah, and Colin, if anyone out there is listening to this right now, think about this. When I done that first run, half a kilometer, the very first run, when I said to myself, you know what, I'm not happy with the way I look. I'm not happy with my fitness levels. I want to change this. Think about what was necessary to get me from running that half kilometer up to doing Ironman events, at the moment. That, how can you expect your body to change that much overnight, over a week, over a month, even over a year? This has been years and years of being consistent, day in, day out, to get me to this level. So yeah, consistency really, really is key. But this is the problem. As I said earlier, people go too hard too soon. They say to themselves, right, I want to get fit. I'm going to go out and run a 5K tomorrow. Don't run a 5K tomorrow. Run a kilometer if you can. Walk a 5K tomorrow. You need to be realistic with yourself, and you need to be able to do sessions that fit into your lifestyle. I'm not going to say to a mother of 5 kids, I want you out running a 5 kilometer every single day. Obviously, it's not going to be achievable for her. I want her to say to me, right, Kellie, this is the amount of time I can give to exercise, and then I will create a plan around her lifestyle, because what works for one person doesn't work for everyone. And as I said earlier, comparing that mother to that, college kid, their training plans are not going to be the same. They don't have the same available time to them. So we need to be realistic with what we can do week in, week out, and then we just need to start doing that.
Yeah, and what you're doing as well is, Kellie is creating a community of people, and she has a separate, suppose, group that go to events, and hopefully in the near future I'll be allowed to go on one if they'll have me.
Coleman, you have to do Lug. August, we want you there for Lug.
All right, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for myself and Kellie going to some event in August. And I suppose, Kellie, maybe some of the listeners before we wrap it up, where's the best place for them to meet you or join your community or even get that cookbook that you've mentioned? Is that separately available on your website?
Yeah, so the best place, I suppose, to get in touch with me and kind of figure out what I'm about is Instagram. It's the platform that I'm most active on at the moment. My name on that, or my handle on that, is Kellie Fennell Fitness, and Kellie is spelled Kellie. I'm also on Facebook as well. I have a website, Kellie Fennell Fitness. I have a podcast, the Kellie Fennell Podcast. But if you want to know any more information or get in touch or anything like that, just pop me an Instagram message and I'll get back to you. I do have a group. It's called the Kellie Fennell Fitness Community. We meet up once a month. We go hiking, we go walking. I send on educational videos and content weekly. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in as well, just pop me a message, as I said, on Instagram, and I'll get back to you.
Kellie, well, I'll be tagging all those in the links of the show notes. And I'd just like to say thanks so much. I just love even spending time listening to, I suppose, individuals such as yourself that are just generally sound. Do you know what I mean? We're two honest, hard-working individuals that are looking to, I suppose, improve people's lives, and we're putting out a positive message. And that's why, I suppose, why I got you on this show, because I don't have any fakers. I only have sound people on.
I love it, Colin. Thanks, Neil. And listen, can't wait to have you on my podcast as well.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. And I always end these shows by saying, stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.